Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Minute Ministry. My name is Pastor Burns, and this is a new podcast where we discuss church hot button issues as well as layman questions and ministerial questions. And maybe later in future videos, we'll interview other pastors of other congregations to get their take on certain hot button issues. But without further ado, this is today's Minute Ministry. So, our Minute Ministry today is based on the Great Commission. As Barnum just recently put out a survey, it says that shockingly 51% of churchgoers don't know what the Great Commission is. Now, that is a sad fact, and that means that we're not even fulfilling the Great Commission as churches in the first place. So, what is the Great Commission? Well, in Matthew 28:19 through 20, we see it says, "Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I will be with you always to the very end of the age." Now, a lot of people that I've talked to about the Great Commission just assume that the Great Commission is for the church body as a whole. But whenever we read the Great Commission, we can see that would go back on itself. So if it's for a church body as a whole, then what individuals is it for? And when we break down, okay, so-and-so and so-and-so need to go fulfill the Great Commission, then we as a church need to back them, and therefore we're into the Great Commission ourselves. So ultimately, the Great Commission is for everyone. And it's not just for the disciples, as some arguments say, because it's a commission. It's not just a commandment. A commandment is saying, I'm telling you to do this. A commission is saying, I'm asking you to go out in my name and do this task. And how long are we to do this task? It says in verse 20, it says, "And surely I'm with you always to the very end of the age." So we're to do this task until the age ends. So what do we do with the Great Commission? What are churches doing with the Great Commission now that we're not doing, that we should be doing? So often churchgoers come and receive the bread of the word and the meat of the word, but they don't go out and share that with the rest of the world. And that's where we're failing. We're also not, as churches, equipping these members to do this. We're not calling for those in the ministry. And during COVID recently, we have lost a large, shocking amount of churches, a shocking amount of ministers. So what are we to do? Now we have a gap to fill. We should be filling that gap with just more than ministers. We should be creating the church like a river instead of stagnant pools of men and women who are just coming to receive the bread. We should be a river where people go through, get what they need, arm themselves, and then head out into the world and share the gospel of Jesus and build the kingdom. Unfortunately, that's not what's going on this day and age. And maybe there are some churches that are doing that. But from my personal experience and my personal experience in ministry, the churches in my area have not been fulfilling the Great Commission. We should have a little bit of shame in that, but also we should be doing things to rectify that. So who is the Great Commission for? The Great Commission's for everyone. So we should be financially helping the men and women in our congregation and in our community to boldly go forth and build the kingdom and not worry about if this is going to look good on us or if this is going to financially be good for us. If the church down the road wants to hold a baptism and needs to borrow our baptism font or our holy horse trough as we have here, and they don't have that capability to baptize their members, we should be helping them assist that, whether it's of the same congregation or not, or whether it's of the same denomination or not. We need to be baptizing people, bringing them into the fold. There is a great number of people out there who are not of the flock of Jesus, and he asks them asks us to bring them into the fold. So we need to reevaluate whether or not we are doing things to build the kingdom for us or to build the kingdom for him. And that's what the Great Commission is. Tune in next week for another hot button issue, and we will see what in the comments goes on with what we need to discuss in the future. And as always, have a safe weekend. This has been your Minute Ministry.